Alright guys, hello and welcome back as we're going to be getting underway with today's game. If you guys didn't get the memo, plan is I'm going to be doing at least one game per day. If I have time, I'll do more than one game per day. If I start a series, I'll finish the series, etc, etc. Onward. So today we got time to get one game for this series underway, so I'm going to be bringing you guys an awesome game because I have Startail Bomber taking on MarineKing Prime from the Consolation rounds from MLG Orlando. So first off, guys, spawning as our red Terran is going to be none other than Startail's Bomber. And of course his opponent spawning as our blue Terran, MarineKing Prime. Now these are from the Consolation rounds, which does mean that this was basically for placement. Any of the players who want to play their actual placement games to get their final placing from Orlando, we're able to do so by playing in these Consolation round matchups to determine the final order. So MKP, Bomber decided to play each other. Haven't seen anybody cast it really around the community, so I thought this would definitely be a game the community would want to get to see from Orlando. So here we go, Bomber going to be going racks. No gas just yet, of course not at 13 supply yet either, so gas still plenty possible in just a moment here. Wait and see if either one of these guys do take gas or if any of them will go gasless. Looks like that for sure MarineKing going to be taking his gas, but interestingly enough, just a little bit of a late gas out of Bomber. So we'll have to wait and see what Bomber's plan is. Taking a little bit later gas than MarineKing. A little less tech-oriented style of build out of Bomber. MKP with the squiggly face, not really sure what that's about, to be totally honest. Have to wait and see if it actually matters later on in the matchup. Interesting enough, MKP actually not going to put guys in the refinery right away. Now gets the couple of SCVs into the refinery. So it looks like MKP really wants to see Idra versus MC. Apparently that match was going on while these guys were playing their Consolation rounds. So even the Korean players can be a fan of just watching games every now and then. So first couple of Marines out, no other tech for either player just yet. Going to be very interested to see which direction both these guys go. It looks like MarineKing's going to be the first one to actually deviate and do something, as he's going to be throwing down a fast second barracks, getting a very quick tech lab on this first barracks. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what direction MKP is going. Definitely going to probably be going a bio-based build. Bomber, on the other hand, going to be getting up a fast factory behind his first barracks. So factory out of Bomber, second barracks out of MKP. So MKP definitely going to be playing a little more bio-heavy style of play early on here. Going to be patrolling that first Marine at the bottom of his ramp. Wants to make sure that Bomber can scout as little as humanly possible. So both these guys kind of just macroing up right now. Do have a Reaper on the way for MKP. Should be able to get some pretty good scouting information out of what Bomber is doing. Gonna wait to see if Bomber goes and puts an add-on on this factory here, or if he's gonna go Banshee Tech. Really could do either one. Has taken his second gas, so does have that double gas, so that definitely could be a possibility. And yes, he is going to definitely be going Banshee Tech. You see right there the Tech Lab, Starport going down right next to the factory. So he is definitely going to be wanting to switch into Banshee Tech. MKP now will have an opportunity to spot this with this Reaper should he actually go and scout Bomber's base. Now, MarineKing not one to always scout super fast, but does normally at least get a scout. But actually early on here, not scouting at all. So maybe a little bit of a mistake there by MKP. Could pay for it, but it looks like he's actually going to build a couple of Reapers and maybe wants to do a harassment while he gets his scouting information more than actually just poking in with a Reaper or two. Don't mind this move at all by MKP. Bomber is going to be ready for this, however. Does have a couple of Marines already out on the map. No expansion just yet for Bomber. Do have that switch over there. Now is going to be getting Cloak. If he can keep this hidden from MarineKing, it would be pretty huge here in this very first game of these guys' best of 3 series. Because, I mean, really, if MarineKing doesn't see this coming, he might not be prepared for it. Haven't seen an engineering bay go down just yet for MKP, and gets those Reapers absolutely obliterated without getting any information whatsoever. Definitely not what MKP wanted to have happen. Do have 2 more Reapers on the way here. Interestingly enough, has gotten a tech lab on both of these barracks. has gotten the combat shields upgrade, now starting the stim upgrade for his Marines, about to have that expansion command center, which will play big for him moving into the mid game. Got a third barracks with a reactor on it as well, but as you guys can see, no engineering bay anywhere in sight, and we do see that cloak just about finished up now for MKP, and it looks for Bomber, I should say, and it looks like Bomber's going to be actually doing a push with a couple of his Marines, this Hellion, and he is going to have those Cloak Banshees as well, moving over here towards MKP's base, and MKP is going to be completely unprepared, at least for the initial Banshee. He's going to have to rely on any scans that he has. Does not have any scans on that orbital. That orbital fresh, though, will have at least one scan available to him. So he's going to need to just position himself well. Bomber placing the rest of his units outside of MKP's natural. It looks like he wants to try and draw him off. Might actually get this tech lab here. We do see a single SCV moving forward here to repair that. So he should be able to repair it. Going to be very close, as we do see Bomber whacking away there with that single Banshee, and at the same time a bunch of Marines can be running over here back towards the back of the natural here of MKP. Scan goes down. We'll get off a couple of shots on that Banshee, but not going to be able to actually take it out. SCV coming back to try and repair this tech lab so he does not lose his ability to get stim. Meanwhile, Bomber going to be here in the back of the base with a bunch of Marines. Does not look like MarineKing actually has enough to hold us without retreating back to the bunker, so that's exactly what he is going to do. And that Banshee still trying to be annoying, trying to take out this single barracks if possible, trying to stop stim from actually finishing. Would be huge if you could actually stop the stim upgrade from finishing, because right now Bomber just now started his stim, and he will prevent the stim from finishing up. So no stim for MKP. He's going to have to start that somewhere else. Two of the combat shields going down over here on this tech lab, but no stim just yet, and that is going to be really, really bad for MarineKing against these Banshees. You really do need stim to have proper micro against these Banshees. Bomber will lose one of the Banshees. Two Banshees still alive, though, for Bomber. Bomber has also expanded over here to his natural in the meantime. Engineering bay going down. Getting a couple of barracks up, 4 to be exact. Does have that factory. Going to be adding a tech lab to that. Still has a tech lab on this single starport. Probably will swap that out with one of the other buildings later on. So we'll just have to wait and see. Banshee's trying to be annoying, but MKP does pick off the last Banshee. So MKP actually not looking that bad right now. If we go to the income tab really quick, guys, we can see it is fairly close. MKP just one harvester ahead of Bomber right now. But Bomber being very annoying with these Banshees, killing off as many Marines as humanly possible. MKP does have a turret down over here in his natural, but no turrets in the main, really relying on those Marines for all of his defense right now. And the Banshee runs out of cloak, and Bomber will lose his Banshee. I do believe he is now actually out of Banshees, but has gotten his expansion done, has caught up in economy, so the harass actually ended up working out pretty much to an even wash for Bomber at this point in the game. Does have siege tanks starting to roll in now. Do see MKP at the same time getting his starport up as well. Does have his factory now getting a reactor, interesting enough. I think he's going to actually swap that with the starport and then probably get a tech lab on that factory instead. +1 for his Marines started as well. So MKP still in a very solid position. So both these players right now really going to have to go towards their mid-game move here, and exactly how they're going to try and move in the mid-game, especially securing your third. So huge in these matchups. It's really a race to see who can get ahead of bases at some point. A lot of times that is what will win you out in a TBT matchup, is who can secure the most bases and actually hold them against all the harassment that their opponent can't do. We see MKP taking a fairly quick third. I wouldn't say an unusually quick third, but we'll get his third underway at least before Bomber will. Bomber, in the meantime, looks like he might be actually gearing up to go for a drop. Not really sure where he's going with these Marines. Might actually just be patrolling his base so that he is prepared for any drops that MKP would do. Since MKP is renowned for doing a lot of drop play, we do have the siege tanks finally now on the way for MKP. Looking at the unit counting station, guys, we can't see right now. Bomber with just one tank. MKP has his first tank on the way. Right now, I do not believe either player actually has siege mode. Actually, interestingly enough, Bomber already does have his siege mode completed. So Bomber does have siege mode. MKP does not just yet, but should probably have it shortly, but actually has not even started it just yet. So it looks like he's going to be actually doing a pretty big bio push right here. Now he does have his stim and his combat shields completed. Do you see the combat shield upgrade not quite yet finished for Bomber, so he will be at a little bit of a disadvantage. Does have that +1 upgrade, so as far as upgrades go, very even right now for both players. And now going to be moving into the base of Bomber. If MarineKing can at least pick off a couple of add-ons, that would at least make this drop worth it, so long as he does not lose these Marines without actually getting some good damage done. Bomber now moving to intercept these Marines of MKP. Will at least get one of the add-ons over there on the starport. If he could actually get the starport down, that would be pretty big. Gets a medevac for free. Good move there by MKP, but now MKP's forces are going to get overwhelmed. He's going to need to try and get those medevacs out of there. Will get one of the 2 medevacs out of there, so does at least save some of his forces. Third now finishing up here for MKP, going to be morphing right into an orbital command. Command center really just underway right now for Bomber. So MKP definitely looking very good in his economy. You can see right now has a 7 harvester lead over Bomber right now, adding on a lot of production facilities to really ramp up his production. Still very bio heavy, very typical MarineKing style of play. Always does tend to be a little bit more bio heavy than mech heavy. Bomber, a little more of your traditional straight up type of player, just plays very solid a lot of times. You will see him have a pretty decent tank count along with his Marines. MKP, on the other hand, tends to be a little bit of the opposite. He will get a little more Marine heavy than tank heavy a lot of times, rely on his micro and good drops. Going to lose these couple of Marines for free, though, if he actually does leave them over there for Bomber to pick off. Bomber is ahead in supply right now, though, 151 to the 125 of MKP. MKP does have that 3rd up and running already, though. Bomber just now getting his 3rd up and running, is morphing that immediately into an orbital command. No change in tech in the base of Bomber so far, not even really adding on a ton of production facilities and shit. Is going double factory right now, so that is part of why he does not have quite as many barracks. Double factory for MKP on 3 bases as well. Does have a couple more barracks than does Bomber. No additional upgrades yet for MKP. That has been a little bit of his Achilles heel, as I have been watching him in his TVTs. Tends to get a little bit behind on the upgrades compared to his opponent, as we do see the 1-1 starting now for his Marines and the +1 vehicle weapons. But Bomber is now just a smidgen ahead of MKP in the upgrade race. Will get his 2-2 before MKP does. Will not quite get the vehicle upgrade first. So both these guys very even right now. You see in the unit counting tabs, though, Bomber has a ton more Marines than MKP, and right now we see Bomber moving forward, wants to try and stop this force of MKP from taking out his 3rd, and I think he's not only going to do it, he's going to absolutely crush this push. MKP trying to lift some of the tanks to get him out of there, but Bomber will easily take them out. MKP is going to lose these last couple of Marines, and now he could be in a lot of trouble, as Bomber really could just move across the map and do a ton of damage right now. As you can see, only 17 Marines left now for MarineKing. Does have a huge SCV advantage, but an SCV advantage is not going to help you a lot when your opponent has a ton of tanks and Marines and you do not. See a lot of upgrades and such forth on the way here for MarineKing, and MarineKing going to be taking his gold expansion actually behind this, trying to take a risk, get up this gold expansion if he can. Now, I do believe Bomber should be aware of this gold expansion going up. Yes, he does see it going up, so he does know that MarineKing is trying to take a gold expansion. Not really a whole lot of units for MarineKing to actually do much with that gold expansion as far as defense goes with, so he's going to have to play a little bit defensively if he's going to try and hold his gold base. But do see Bomber already moving out, wants to try and get himself in a position that MarineKing actually cannot defend this gold base. Base is just about to finish up. Do see MarineKing trying to get into a defensive position here, does not want to allow Bomber to have the advantage. It looks like Bomber's going to actually flank in from 2 different sides here and try and crush the forces of MKP. MKP having to multitask and split up his units, and he really does not have a lot of them to even be splitting up in the first place. We now see Bomber actually straddling over here on the edge of that gold base, wants to try and limit mining from it, and at the same time Bomber's multitasking, always one of the best multitaskers in the game. Going to be going after the main with a drop, at the same time moving some forces over here into the 3rd. Will be doing a lot of damage to the 3rd, a lot more damage than he'll actually be doing inside the main. Could actually get this 3rd base, and this could be a huge swing for Bomber as he does take out that orbital command. So right now MKP does have this gold, but he has just lost his 3rd to Bomber. Bomber with that excellent distraction. Looked like he was going to siege up to attack the gold base and just swung a secondary group of his forces around. Went after that 3rd while he did a drop in the main. MKP going to try and intercept these forces that are branched off from Bomber's main army. Will be able to clean those up quite easily, so Bomber will lose that small group of units pretty much for free. You see MKP is at 2-2. Bomber does have the +1 vehicle weapons complete, shelling away right now at this gold base. MKP having to do a lot of repair on it. Bomber's 4th base is now up and online. It's going to be morphing that into a planetary fortress to make it a little bit easier to defend. Looks like Bomber wants to get in a good position to stop MKP from actually moving out and trying to assault any of his bases. Bomber with very smart positioning will thwart MKP from pushing forward in any way, shape, or form. Now MKP does have this gold base secure, but really the problem for MKP is you see him building yet another orbital command. His main pretty much mined out. His natural starting to get fairly low on minerals, and now he has lost that third base, so really all he has is this fourth gold expansion to really rely on for his reinforcements. And you do see him right now supply blocked at 169 to 200 of Bomber, and Bomber just being very smart, straddling the center of the map by that gold base, preventing MKP from being able to do a lot of damage. But MKP is going to go for a huge drop into the main of Bomber. This could actually do a lot of damage to Bomber. If Bomber can't hold this could be very problematic for him, as if he loses his production facilities, that is the easiest way to get behind in a TVT matchup. And MarineKing actually has very good presence on the map right now, has his tanks here to reinforce these Marines, can back up to them, and that's exactly what he is going to do. You do see Bomber trying to get into a good position to force out these units from MKP, but Bomber may actually lose one of his tanks. Can be very close. No, it looks like he will be able to keep the tank. It looks like MKP trying to hold the position, wants to be able to assault the main of Bomber. If Bomber can't reinforce, doesn't matter how many bases or minerals Bomber has, won't make a difference. And we do have a drop over here in the main of MarineKing Prime at the same time. May get a supply depot and a refinery, but not really much more damage than that done. Will waste a little bit of gas mining time there for MarineKing. Really needs to get these SCVs back to work. At the same time, it looks like Bomber thinking about moving out into these forces of MarineKing. Going to re-siege his tanks over a little bit closer to where MKP was to try and prevent him from actually doing anything. And then we have a medevac and a lot of Marines moving out over here for Bomber. So Bomber's tank's actually a little bit naked right now. He needs to get a couple of Marines back over there. We'll get those other Marines back over there. So you do see two medevacs now on the way, queued up to do another drop into the main of MarineKing. MarineKing desperately really needs to get another base back up, either over here at this third or one of these other auxiliary bases. And we do see Bomber trying to move out. MarineKing's going to try and intercept him here on the edge. Spreading his forces very thin, though, is going to have to retreat because Bomber does have a much superior tank count. If you look at the unit counting stage, we see Bomber right now 15 tanks and 73 Marines to the 9 tanks and 94 Marines of MarineKing. So MarineKing definitely a little more bio-heavy than Bomber, as is typically his style, but is going to need to be very careful about how he places himself on the map. In the meantime, Bomber we see taking his fourth base, even taking his gold base at the same time, so just going to double expand. Does feel like he has control of the half map. MarineKing just now finally trying to retake his third. Did have a drop attempt over here in the main, but it was thwarted by MarineKing instantly. And now we have MarineKing actually trying to gear up to do another drop into the main of Bomber. Bomber does not really have a whole lot of Marine support over here at his base. Doesn't even have a medevac hanging out with a lot of Marines over here near what was the original third base of MarineKing. And it looks like he's going to drop Marines on top of the tanks. May actually kill off a couple of the tanks of Bomber. It would be pretty huge. Now finally the Marines are going to come back. A few tanks will take a lot of damage. A lot of tanks in the yellows and reds over there for Bomber, and it looks like MarineKing's going to try and move out. I'm not sure if this is going to be a good idea. Moving into the forces of Bomber is MarineKing's going to try and overwhelm him. Not a lot of Marines there for Bomber, and MarineKing's going to actually break through the front of Bomber, and this is huge for MarineKing, as now he can try and push forward. If he can get to all those production facilities of Bomber, there's going to be no way he can actually hold this. Bomber trying to get into a good position to actually hold off the forces of MarineKing. MarineKing now sieging on the low ground of Bomber, and Bomber is in a lot of trouble. Losing all those tanks was absolutely huge. Did not have his Marines in a very good position. Had them out of position for just a moment. When he blinked, MarineKing moved forward, and now we see MarineKing even over here into the main. Now it's going to be able to start laying siege to a lot of the production facilities and cut off reinforcements of Bomber. Bomber doing his best to try and move forward and take out a couple of these siege tanks, but I do not think he has the Marine count to actually pull it off. Just one tank for Bomber, really trying to kill all the Marines of MarineKing. MarineKing just streaming reinforcements over here to this point. MarineKing smells blood in the water, and he wants to end this game right now. Does not even want to give Bomber a chance to get back into this game if he can avoid it. You see all these forces of MarineKing now destroying a lot of the production facilities, has lost a lot of his factories. And there's the GG, and MarineKing is going to win game number 1 versus Startail Bomber. Very good play there by MarineKing. Managed to hold on to this gold base, which was pretty big. Bomber really did look to be in a very good position for a while, but MarineKing, as such is the case with a lot of TVTs, caught Bomber's tanks without his Marines for just a split second, and as soon as Bomber blinked, MarineKing moved straight in there when he saw the opportunity. After dropping all those Marines on those tanks, weakening a lot of the tanks, Bomber really didn't have enough of his forces there to support the tanks, and MarineKing was able to push through very quickly, smash through the tank line of Bomber, and take this game. So congrats to MarineKing on winning game number 1. Guys, I will be back to you tomorrow with game number 2 of this series, and it probably will actually finish up this series tomorrow and do game number 3 as well. So expect those 2 games tomorrow, guys. For now, though, this is going to be Nursky saying peace easy, guys. Hope you enjoyed the game. Please subscribe to my YouTube. You can always subscribe to my Twitter as well, at VP Nursky. But bye for now, guys.